It gives me great pleasure to introduce to you Mr. Sean Ang. Sean, 1 year ago, very kindly contacted the Online Citizen through the Southeast Asia Center for E-Media. And he was kind enough to pay for a trip for me to go up to speak at the New Media Forum and to share some of the ideas that we've learned in Singapore with his partners from all across Asia. And Sean is really a great privilege for us to be able to return the favor by bringing him over to Singapore. And he's really one of the best people, I think, in the region to talk about this. When I went up to Malaysia for the forum he co-organized with Malaysia Kini, we were introduced to a lot of his partner groups. So Sean is actually training people to work with social media from Thailand and Bangladesh to Nepal. And so I think one of his main credentials is he's a bona fide Malaysian cyber warrior. So PM said, Singapore, the internet is like the wild, wild west. Well, you ain't seen nothing yet. So Sean.
Okay, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Sean Ang. I'm actually a media activist. So what I do is I go around South Asia and provide training to political parties, civil society groups, and also individuals. So my focus is looking at democracy, human rights, and press freedom. So basically that's what I do full time. So my part-time in Malaysia, I was a kind of activist also, okay? Probably, but what a lot of people don't know is actually I'm somewhat ordinary, just like you, ordinary citizens. So in Malaysia, I was involved in BERSE. BERSE is actually a very important group that triggers the mass demonstration. Everybody's wearing yellow. So we managed to get around 30 to 50,000 people to go on the street to protest. So there's a big group. And I'm one of the steering committee. Then I also a part of member called CSI Parliament, whereby we set up this group to monitor the politicians, to lobby them, you see. And besides that, I was currently involved in some smaller groups and smaller activities. So from my activism, what I find out is actually it's not really that difficult to get involved in activism. Okay, there's actually one line only. Okay, whether you have the courage or you do not have the courage, that's all. And most of the time you don't really do much. It's just attend meeting, discuss on strategy, and at the end of the day, you only basically do 3 or 4 things only. Number one, you sign petition. Is it easy? Sign petition. It's very easy, right? Sign a petition. Okay, it's very simple. Anyone can do. Then go to candlelight vigils. Is it difficult to do? Just attend and work on it. And of course, okay, maybe not in Singapore, but Malaysia, there's demonstration or protest. You just join, wear the shirt, and that's all, walk. So basically, to be part of the activist group is actually pretty simple, right? You only need to do 3 things: sign petition, right? Attend vigils or gatherings, and also join protests. It's very cool. And if you can do that, if let's say Singaporeans, right? Let's say 60% of Singaporeans, right, have the courage to do simple things like this, then things will change. Basically, it's very simple. And that's why the governments around the world, they are very afraid of demonstration, because demonstration is a very important political tool. Once there's demonstration, then people know there's something wrong already. So it's a very strong political message, and nothing beats demonstration. So the best thing that can happen to Singapore is really big demonstration. But unfortunately, that won't happen. But unfortunately, right, based on current situation, I think it's unlikely to happen here, right? So that's why I think through the cyberspace, there's a lot of things we can do to change, okay? Now, I need to tell you I'm on your side, okay? I'm talking from citizen's point of view. Because when I started from a citizen. So citizen, at the end of the day, right, we want quality of life, we want better, better democracy and things like this. And there's nothing wrong to say that. There's nothing wrong to say that I want more freedom of speech. There's nothing wrong to say I want more quality of life, and so on. You understand what I mean or not? Okay, now you see, and I want to show this photograph of this Thailand. Okay, in Thailand, if you're aware of this red shirts movement, right, and the people who are involved in providing support is Thai Free News. I'm of them. Actually, Thai Free News is something like the online citizen. Okay, they are just ordinary people. So they provide support to this demonstration by providing massage service. So during the demonstration, actually they also contribute by doing little things. They go there, right, set up a booth, like providing like first aid like that, right. If people come, right, so if you go to demonstration very tired, right, so they will just give you massage service. So these are little things they do to make a difference. And okay, and another thing is a very little thing I did before the 12th election is there's a small group of us, you know. So we are civil society group members, right? So we sit down, that time me, Chin Hua, Tegi, so all of us are like activists, but we discussed for hours just to produce something very simple. It's actually a brochure. This is the brochure we produced, you know. So after we discuss, produce this brochure, then we print out. So what happened is we print out like 5,000 copies, right? And prior to the election, we distribute. And what actually happened is we find out actually the political parties, you know, they don't really have a campaign tool. So they use this our campaign tool to actually spread the whole thing. So instead of like we start 5,000 brochures, then suddenly there's a lot of brochures. So once little things we did, then it makes a lot of impact. So what correct? This is what actually happened. So you may think that, oh, you know, I'm involved in some big thing. Actually, no, it's a very simple thing. We sit down and just design a small brochure and distribute this brochure. It's a very small thing. Activism, that's activism. Okay, I think the reason why you're here, probably because you are already a blogger. Okay, if you're not a blogger, and maybe you are a little bit afraid, and maybe you want to find out more, no? Clearly, know about the laws before you go in, okay? And I think a lot of people, the general sentiment is, I'm a little bit afraid, you know? In Singapore, I think you look around and nobody, people are doing, then you're afraid. But you must know, that is actually the same thing happened in Malaysia about, in the year 2002. At the time, Jeff Wee, right, actually was one of the pioneers. Of course, there's another person by the name of Un Yo. He started a blog on technology. Then Jeff Wee came in, you see. So at the time, nobody does a blog. So I would say that the situation in Singapore probably reflects what early phase, because people don't know what it will lead to. Where you see they don't know anything yet, you see. So they're very afraid. So what actually happened is after some time the whole movement built up, and suddenly everybody is part of it. It became a very common thing. At that time, there's only 500 political blogs, and people are very uncertain about many things. In fact, the reason why I'm a little bit more brave compared with many people is actually I was from the government. So I was from the National ID Council, and I know the people who monitors emails, blogs. And later I find out, hey, actually these people are not very interested in the job. You think they really want to go down and track you? Unless you are some important political figures, they will go after you. If you are an ordinary citizen, that's very unlikely they're going to go after you. So if you are nobody, and let me say this to you, who the hell do you think you are? What makes you think that, you know, if you are there sitting down and you think that, hey, the government going after me, let me tell you something, who the hell do you think you are? What makes you think that the government have all the time to go after you? Because I was for the government, I know. We need to prioritize many things, right? So we have this nicer group, we check emails like Sharifah Aini is a big case. So there's some political money. If ordinary people, very unlikely the government will go, if they really, you know, really want to focus on things, then they won't go after you, right? But of course, there are certain things we can do to avoid, to make ourselves safer before you become a more prominent blogger, for example. So in this first part, I will mention a little bit on some of these techniques. Then the second part, I will mention more about these some of the technical techniques we can use if you are already an established blogger. So this is some of the techniques we can use. But before that, we want to go back to the fundamental.